should we be thinking more intergenerationally when we do our worship, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
What do you mean by intergenerational?
Like intergenerational, so like everywhere from those that like for our elderly
Fathers.
I mean just understanding where their context is, right? From an elderly, from those that are new in the faith, for those that are seasoned, spiritually mature Christians, to the teenagers, to the young kids, to the toddlers. Is that a thing that we need to be doing, being more intentional as we plan out our worship? Now it's tough, particularly when we have, when you have the sermon, because there's not a whole lot that you can do there. Is there?
I think so, maybe. Because at first traditional worship service, like you have a sermon, like I'm gonna sell small group again.
Yeah.
Because for small group, like it's not centered on you paying attention and you being a consumer, within just like listening to someone receiving, like you giving a message. Like it's you being an active participant in talking about faith and talking about Jesus and talking about like who God is and things like that, which for a person like me, like it keeps me really engaged, because like sometimes when I sit in a sermon, like I'm easily distracted because like maybe the sermon's boring. Straight up. Maybe the speaker isn't as engaging. Like that's just like maybe because like what I need like a lot of attention. I need a lot of things to distract me.
Sure.
To get my attention, essentially. I don't know. Yeah.
No.
But like that's what I think about like intergenerational worship type things, I guess. Like there's something different from each person. And I don't think we need to peg down worship equals like you having to listen to a sermon or something like that. Or like, like kids ministry, they have kids ministry, people who volunteer and do specific kids ministry, and they go off to their own place and they do their own thing. Like they're doing activities, they're learning like Bible stories and things like that. Like it's all, I don't know. I don't know. Like but like, I don't like programs. I don't like programs too. Yeah. Like, there's a team program, there's a young adult program, and then that creates like intergenerational problems. So I don't know.
Society being what it is, with attention span, with internet, with all these things that impact the way that our attention is. Maybe we have to learn. Maybe we have to do things a little bit differently. It's the thing is, it's not a liturgical thing within the Bible that prescribes us.
Exactly.
You have to have the sermon this length, this way, this how, right?
Yeah, I think as leaders, like we can, I don't know. Yeah, as like church leaders, just people who are overseeing like a congregation or overseeing like a body of believers, is just like, how can we serve the specific niche, the specific community within the community, essentially, right? Yeah. Like, how can we serve our elderly in growing and facilitating their relationship with God and growing in their faith? How can, and so on with the teens, so on with the kids, so on with the young adults, and Yeah. Because like we're all so different. We all grew up in different generations, and we all have different attention spans. We all have our I don't know, we're more receptive to different type of things. So
I guess like the way that I've been viewing sermons in a way is it kind of also functions almost like an appetizer. So like some of the best I visited a couple of churches.
Food, baby.
I've gone to a couple of churches where they would have the sermon, and then throughout the week they would host Bible studies or small groups that are directly related to the sermon that was just preached. And so it's almost like the sermon was the appetizer, but if you want to taste more and digest it more, come out to the small groups, and we're gonna answer these questions and dug deeper into the word, in which like it's almost like an intro. This is an appetizer, and then later on you'll get the real meal. And so the way that you get the meal is it could be to however's preference, right? It might be, you might have a group of people who are mostly elderly, who are more traditional, and then you might have a group of young adults who carry like the same what is it, like, yeah, same views in different aspects, and etc, like the way that it's just generational, right? But yet you're still together in one church.
Yeah.
You have this message, and everyone's gonna digest it in different moments of their life differently. As a kid, you're gonna digest the gospel in one way. When you become a teen, you digest the gospel in a different way, and when you become young adult, and then an adult, and then an elderly, like, you digest different messages in different ways based on what our lives are around us. And so in a way, I feel like small groups allows us to facilitate those types of groups, and allow a space where they can digest a certain message in the context of where they are now. And but at the same time be able to have a unified discussion, a unified place where they can all hear it at once. So that's why I almost think like sermons are like appetizers, and then small groups is the meal, and then dessert is like when you actually put into action. That's where sweet things happen.
Full course.
Yeah.
Full course meal of a believer.